guys, in this short video I just want to talk about something that I do to try to improve my thinking and my ability to especially do deductions, right? You're constantly encountering people and you're wondering, hey, how do I think like Sherlock Holmes? I think one of the starting steps, of course, is observation, but then this next thing is actually thinking back, learning to think backwards through things. And I think a demonstration of that is important so you kind of understand how to do it on a day-to-day basis and kind of how you can start to implement that in your day-to-day thinking. Of course, it takes time and effort to do this, but I think it's worth the time. So I'm using my cup as an example. Mia, by the way, thank you so much for this cup. It's awesome. I think sequentially are a series of events we can see or anticipate what's going to happen next, right? If I, for example, have my cup in my hand, it's filled with hot water. You can see the hot water rising. I'm walking to the table. On the table is a tea bag and some honey, right? You can probably conclude or reach a conclusion that I'm going to put my cup down, maybe put the tea bag inside of it, let it steep, and then insert the honey afterwards, right? Logically, I think we think that way, or in a series of events, we can start to see or anticipate what's going to happen based on, currently what we see. But with Sherlock Holmes, remember that in his stories, he's always presented with something after it's happened. So the crime has been committed. He doesn't get a chance to see the series of events leading to something. So it makes sense to think that the way he thinks about things kind of has to be backwards. He has to walk his way back and then into the problem. Now, of course, he does a number of things that help him. I think one of the big things he does is the hypothesis idea. He figures out, okay, I think this is maybe what happened, and then runs through the scenario in his head or plays it out, over and over again to see if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, he'll try something else. But another way I think that's really powerful is to work your way backwards from something. And that's by taking the evidence that you have and then figuring out how it got there, right? And so with our cup in mind, one of the first things I would do, let's say that the cup is on the table now, and we're trying to figure out what was maybe inside of the cup. What you could do, of course, is to take the cup, smell the contents, right? Maybe that could tell you right away if it was tea or if it was coffee that was being drunk inside of the cup. That could also inform you maybe about the person that was actually drinking the beverage, right? Because not everybody drinks the same thing. Some people don't drink tea, some people don't drink coffee, right? So maybe in your household, you know somebody that does drink coffee or tea. You could smell it, of course. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can actually put your finger in the cup if it hasn't been washed yet, and then taste the contents. If your palate is, I guess, refined enough, you would probably be able to taste the sugary part of it, as far as maybe you could say it's sugar or some other sweetener that was inside. If it's really, really refined, then you could say, okay, I know it's honey. And if it's super refined, then you know what kind of honey it was, right? That's something maybe Sherlock would be able to do. I don't know, but that's a skill set, of course, that you'd have to develop outside of this demonstration. But it serves the idea that we now know that somebody was drinking tea and they put honey in the tea, right? So next question is, where did they get the tea bag and where did they get the honey, right? And so obviously if I'm a good steward of my household, I'm not going to take my tea, leave it there on the table. I'm going to wash it out and do all this other stuff, but I'm going to also put my contents back, my tea box. If I have a box there, I'm going to put it back. If I have my honey, I'm going to put it back where it belongs. But logic tells us that for sure, somebody had to put these contents inside of here. Therefore, they had to access it at one time. Now, the question is who accessed it and maybe when, right? So the when part, I think, comes more from the age of what's ever inside the cup. If it's most cups are endothermic, so you can feel the heat. If I drink it rapidly and I left it there, you'd still be able to feel that the cup was hot. If it's cold, it's kind of hard to determine actually just based on the touch how old that tea is. And most tea, you can conclude that if you're living in a household, somebody leaves their tea around, it's probably no more than a day, an afternoon or something where their tea is out. And so those are ways though that you can start working your way backwards, right? And figuring out, okay, how did this tea get here? If the information is inconclusive, that is, you can't figure it out for sure, that's not necessarily a problem. It just means that the information or the data that you're given can't provide you with a solid answer that you're looking for. And that's also something that we have to conclude is a possibility every time we're trying to do deductions or something like that. I hope this helps, guys. This is something I like to do personally a lot of times to help me improve the way that I approach problems, to not just see the end product, but then to work my way backwards so that I can get a better sense of what has to be the case with this particular problem that I'm looking at. All right, guys, if you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I am going to try to put more videos on the site and also more videos for the YouTube because I know people like video content, and I do a lot more writing than I do video stuff. So if you feel like this is worth the time, feel free to subscribe. If not, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your time.